Okay, picture this. Do you know someone who just naturally takes charge of literally every single situation? You know the exact type. They walk into a room and instantly they're organizing, they're delegating, they're pushing everybody toward a goal. They're incredibly driven, relentless, and let's be totally honest here, maybe just a little bit intimidating. Well, today we're going to figure out exactly what makes this intense, take-charge personality tick. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're decoding a really powerful, results-driven personality type that's often called the captain. Now, depending on the personality framework you look at, you might know them as the choleric temperament or maybe the D style in the DISC assessment. But honestly, whatever label you use, these are the absolute dynamos making things happen in our world. So here is our roadmap for today. First up, we'll look at the captain's profile. Then, we'll dive into the strengths of the driven, followed by their blind spots and weaknesses. Number 4, we'll explore how they're thriving in the workplace. 5th, navigating choleric relationships. And finally, growth for the choleric. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the captain's profile. This is actually pretty wild, but this personality theory traces all the way back to ancient Greek medicine. Hippocrates originally proposed that human behavior was influenced by 4 bodily humors, and the choleric temperament, that was tied to yellow bile. A little gross, right? Anyway, jumping ahead to the early modern era, the focus shifted more toward behavioral traits, defining the choleric as an energetic, goal-driven type. And today, modern psychology has basically evolved this whole concept into the DIS assessment's D style, which stands for dominance. So what does that actually mean for everyday life? At their core, the choleric, or DISC-D style, is a highly extroverted, assertive, and task-oriented temperament. The engine that's running their machine is this totally uncompromising need to achieve tangible results, and to achieve them fast. They don't just want a participation trophy, they want to win, and they want to do it as efficiently as possible. They're visionary, they're super practical, and they are fiercely independent. To really get a handle on them, it helps to compare them to the other extroverted temperament, the sanguine. The choleric's life motto is basically, let's get moving. They are all about accomplishment, action, getting things done. Check, check, check. But in stark contrast, the sanguine's motto is, let's have fun. Sanguines are driven by socializing, enthusiasm, just enjoying the ride. A D-type, they literally couldn't care less about having fun if it means the job isn't getting done. But what happens when you combine them? The choleric-sanguine blend is a perfect example of what happens when intense drive meets a really outgoing, enthusiastic nature. People with this specific blend are incredibly energetic, highly goal-driven, ambitious, and super adaptable. But because they're constantly moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour and are highly extroverted, they can also be pretty impulsive and honestly might lack consistency sometimes. Like, they might enthusiastically launch 100 brilliant projects, but they're probably going to need a little help carrying every single one of those across the finish line. Moving right along, let's hit section 2, strengths of the driven. Okay, their core superpowers are absolutely phenomenal. D-types are incredibly results-oriented and practical. They are confident decision makers. Analysis paralysis? Yeah, they don't have that. They're visionary yet grounded, highly active, like they often seem to need way less sleep than the rest of us mere mortals, and intensely self-sufficient. When a team is totally stuck staring at a massive obstacle, it is always the D-type who steps up, makes the tough call, and just drags everyone past the roadblock with this contagious confidence. They are the ultimate catalysts for action. But let's flip the coin. Section 3, blind spots and weaknesses. Look, while they are highly productive, that laser focus on goals definitely comes with a cost. D-types are notoriously impatient. They absolutely despise moving slowly or, heaven forbid, waiting in a long line at the grocery store. It's literal torture for them. This intense urgency can make them come off as domineering or bossy. They tend to tell people what to do rather than, asking nicely. And because speed is everything, they might accidentally blow right past crucial details. Interestingly, they also have this really deep need to be right, which can make them a bit crafty when it comes to getting their way. And perhaps the biggest blind spot? They tend to repress emotions. To them, sitting around processing feelings is just an unnecessary weakness that slows down progress. Actually, to really hammer home that last point, there's this classic quote from former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. When someone asked how she was feeling, she just flat out replied, "Feelings. Why does everybody talk about feelings? It's not what we feel that matters, it's what we do." And wow, that perfectly encapsulates the choleric mindset, doesn't it? It's not that they don't have a heart. They absolutely do. It's just that they view feelings as entirely separate from getting the actual work done.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 4, Thriving in the Workplace.
It probably won't surprise you that D-types naturally gravitate toward roles offering autonomy, high stakes, and crystal clear metrics for success. Think CEO. In that role, their strategic, decisive nature is rewarded, and they get the freedom to execute bold visions. Or take an entrepreneur or founder. Their self-reliant, risk-taking mindset lets them totally thrive on challenges and crush obstacles. And as a trial lawyer, oh yeah, their persuasive and, let's face it, sometimes confrontational traits find a perfect home in a high-stakes, high-pressure courtroom. They just love a good competition.
Now get this number, 22.6. That is the percentage of people who have dominance as their primary DISC style. So we're talking nearly a quarter of the population leading with this captain energy. To put that into perspective, they have a massive, outsized influence in the modern workplace and in our daily lives. They are everywhere.
Okay, so how do we deal with them? Section 5, Navigating Choleric Relationships. If you want to communicate effectively with a D-type and actually earn their respect, you've got to follow these steps. First, be brief and decisive. Don't beat around the bush. Second, lead with the bottom line. Skip the small talk, skip the fluff. If you're sending them an email, put the request in the literal first sentence. Third, when you're giving feedback, be direct and actionable. They can totally handle criticism as long as it's logical. And fourth, during a conflict, stay objective and solution-focused. D-types value logic, speed, and confidence way more than emotional appeals. If you come armed with facts and clear options, they will listen to you. You've also got to keep in mind what fills their cup and what drains it. Think of it like a battery. They are energized by autonomy, tight deadlines, and big new challenges, but they are rapidly drained by slow bureaucratic routines, micromanagement, and heavy emotional venting. This is exactly why a D-type might totally check out or seem insensitive during a long, overly emotional meeting. It's just not how their internal battery is wired. Finally, let's talk about Section 6, Growth for the Choleric. Listen up. If you are a captain, your drive is your absolute greatest asset, for sure. But it can also isolate you if you aren't careful. So here are some growth opportunities for you. First, work on releasing minor concerns. Let go of the tiny imperfections. Just ask yourself, is this going to matter in a week? Second, actively try to stop rushing others. Give people the grace to work at their own pace. Practice patience. I know, it's hard. Third, consult trusted peers before making a massive decision. You're fast, but someone else might catch a detail you missed while you were sprinting ahead. And finally, invest time in one-on-one relationships. It might feel inefficient to just sit and chat over coffee, but that's exactly how you build the loyalty and trust you need from your team. Applying these tips will seriously boost your emotional intelligence and transform you from just a bossy director into a truly exceptional leader. To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question to think about. How are you going to change your approach the next time you interact with a captain in your life? Because beneath that tough, super fast-paced exterior is someone who desperately wants to achieve great things. So are you going to keep fighting their current, or will you learn how to harness their incredible drive? Try using this knowledge tomorrow and just watch how the dynamic shifts.